Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are breaking down what it actually means to redefine success. We'll be digging into the underlying psychology you need to reach it and the daily time management habits required to execute on your goals without totally burning out in the process. Let's just jump right in and start with a pretty hard question. Have you ever felt like you were chasing someone else's idea of success? I want you to really think about your current goals for a second. Are they genuinely yours? Or are you just running after those traditional, external markers set by society? We're constantly conditioned to believe we just need to be faster, smarter, richer. But if we aren't super careful here, we can end up working incredibly hard for a life we don't even actually want. Michelle Obama hit the nail on the head regarding this disconnect. She said, success isn't about how your life looks to others, it's about how it feels to you. And you know what's fascinating? Professionals nearing the end of these highly decorated, prestigious careers often go to psychologists with one main request. They literally just want to know how to feel again. Because it turns out that external achievements, wealth, fancy titles, status, they often leave us feeling surprisingly empty if they don't actually align with our inner values. So how exactly do we get stuck in that rut? Well, psychologists call it the when-then trap. It sounds like, when I get that big promotion, then I'll finally be happy. Or when I earn a higher salary, then I'll feel accomplished. We trap ourselves in this endless, exhausting cycle, falsely believing that true fulfillment is just one external milestone away. But guess what always happens when you reach that milestone? The goalpost just moves. It's exactly like the ancient Greek myth of Sisyphus. He was punished by the gods, forced to endlessly roll a massive boulder up a steep hill, only to watch it roll right back down to the bottom the second he reached the top. Just like Sisyphus endlessly pushing that boulder, feeling successful will always slip through your fingers if you're relying solely on outward validation. It is a never-ending loop. To escape that trap, we have to slow down and find real alignment. First, you need to know who you are and, honestly, who you are not. Don't just do the trendy thing because society tells you to. Second, be hyper-aware of your coveting tendencies. We have to stop comparing our messy behind the scenes to everyone else's perfectly curated highlight reel. And third, keep your promises to yourself. You need to treat the commitments you make to yourself with the exact same level of respect you give to the promises you make to your boss or your friends. Section 1. The psychology of achievement. Let's look at why some people actually achieve their goals, while others just don't. Educational psychology shows us a really stark contrast here. High achievers willingly, almost eagerly, push past their comfort zones. Now, they aren't completely fearless, but their focus is absolutely locked on reaching their goals, and they take ultimate responsibility for their own success. Lower achievers, on the flip side, are mostly just driven by a desire to avoid failing. And by playing it safe just to avoid a loss, they fundamentally limit their ability to win big. The defining factor behind that high achiever mentality is what we call grit. Psychologist Angela Lee Duckworth found that pursuing very long-term goals with passion and perseverance over a long period of time is just as predictive of success as natural, inborn talent. Grit is essentially having the mental stamina to endure the very long, usually unglamorous process of actually getting better at something. And that stamina builds directly into Carol Dweck's super famous concept of the growth mindset. It's the core belief that your abilities and your potential are not carved in stone the day you're born. Rather, they're developed through highly focused, structured effort over time. You literally water the mind with effort and it grows. Think about it this way. If you have a fixed mindset, failure is a devastating label. You literally say, I am a failure, which means you're only going to try things if you have a guaranteed 100% chance of succeeding. But with a growth mindset, failure is just an activity. You say, okay, I failed, but I can improve. It transforms failure from an identity into a painful but entirely necessary stepping stone to ultimate improvement. Muhammad Ali proved this absolutely perfectly. When facing Sonny Liston, Ali did not have the superior natural physique, size, or physical strength. A fixed mindset would have looked at Liston and said, well, he's bigger, I'm completely doomed. Instead, Ali used his mental brilliance, diving into a totally diligent study of Liston's fighting style and even his personality outside the ring. He outsmarted him. He used a growth mindset to systematically dismantle a quote-unquote naturally superior opponent. This specific mindset is so absolutely crucial that even NASA filters for it. When selecting astronauts, NASA actually rejected candidates who only had pure success stories on their resumes. Crazy, right? But they did it because those people hadn't proven how they handle real adversity. Instead, NASA actively selected candidates who had experienced significant, crushing failures and proved they could bounce back from them. That resilience is exactly what you want when things go critically wrong out in space. Section 2, Mastering Your Daily Time. Let's get into the practical execution toolkit for high achievers. 1,440. That is the exact number of minutes you get each and every day. It's a surprising fact that really forces you to put things into perspective. Time management is honestly kind of a misnomer. You can't manage time itself. You can only manage the events in your life in relation to time. Much like money, your 1,440 minutes are extremely valuable and highly limited. They have to be budgeted and fiercely protected. So to budget that time, we look to Stephen Covey's famous time management matrix. You have to ruthlessly separate your tasks into these 4 quadrants. We constantly let those urgent but not important tasks dominate our entire lives, like answering every single buzzing notification the second it goes off. To take back control of your 24 hours, you have to prioritize what is important but not urgent, like long-term strategy and planning, and you have to completely delete the non-important and not urgent time wasters. And when it comes to the hard stuff, the stuff you really don't want to do, I love this quote attributed to Mark Twain. If it's your job to eat a frog today, it's best to do it first thing in the morning. To stop procrastinating, you need to identify your big frog, that overwhelming, totally unpleasant task just staring at you from your to-do list, and tackle it as your very first action of the day. Get it out of the way, and the rest of your 1,440 minutes will feel infinitely lighter. Another massive drain on our time is just basic disorganization. Psychological research clearly shows that physical and digital clutter severely impacts your perceived well-being. It stresses us out. To fix this, use a super simple 3-box system. Keep, give away, and toss. Do this to your physical desk and apply a similarly strict system to your digital inbox. Clear space literally equals a clear mind. And whatever you do today, please stop trying to multitask. Psychological studies show that the multitasking myth is exactly that, a total myth. Trying to do everything at once does not save time. In fact, switching from one task to another results in a massive loss of cognitive productivity and focus. You literally bleed time just context switching. So focus on one single task, turn off all your digital notifications, and just get it done. Section 3, the healthy balancing act. Let's talk about protecting your absolute most valuable asset. Rejuvenation requires just as much focus as effort does. You absolutely must schedule time to relax. I mean, literally blocking out time on your calendar to do nothing. Taking time to care for yourself gives you the energy to actually tackle your high-priority activities later on. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity. It is the fundamental fuel for it. And a huge part of that rest today means actively protecting your digital well-being. Poor time management combined with excessive screen time is a one-way ticket straight to fatigue, moodiness, and terrible sleep. Establishing strict digital boundaries is an absolute must. Set screen time limits, maybe try using grayscale mode to make your phone a little less addicting, and establish a hard nightly curfew for all your devices so your brain can actually power down for the night. When you finally put all of this together, living authentically, adopting a growth mindset, practicing ruthless time management, and holding firm on healthy boundaries, your daily markers for success fundamentally shift. Instead of endlessly chasing a title, your markers become having a flexible calendar, slower mornings, real peace of mind, the actual freedom to choose your projects, and consistent daily wins for your mind and body. Now that is a healthy, value-aligned life. So as you look at your own bank of 1,440 minutes today, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder. When you strip away all the societal expectations and you let go of the endless pursuit of external validation, what does a truly authentic, successful life actually feel like for you? Answer that and you've found your true starting line. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.